Welcome back to my workshop. Now, if you're watching this video, it means it's probably worked. If you're not watching this video, it means I've given up and I've done something else. Right, today I'm not doing anything with wood. I've got a problem with my knob. Now, this is someone else's knob. They've asked me to fix it. So it means I've got to do some welding. Right, let's have a look, see what's wrong with my knob. Okay, so this is off of an exercise bike. Now, someone's asked me to see if I can repair it. Now, the problem is here, if I can get it to focus, the thread is stripped. Okay, so around about here somewhere. Okay, the thread is stripped. Okay, so my plan is I'm going to use my welder here. Let me show you. My welder is back out of the cupboard. I shall be using my new welding mask. Now, this has got to work because to get to my welder, I've had to disassemble most of my workshop. Okay, so I've got to get this to work. Now, all I've got to do is remember how to use this. So my plan, not that I've got a plan, it's more like an idea really. I'm going to grind this back, this area back, and then fill it with weld, and then basically retap the thread. Okay, so the first thing I've got to do is clean this up. So I've got to get my grinder out. So Old Faithful here is going to come out. Let's get grinding. Right, so this is slightly unorthodox. Obviously you'd normally do this sort of stuff in a lathe, but because I've got a wood lathe and not a metal lathe, I'm going to try it like this. Now I've got the knob put into my pillar drill, and what I'm going to do is turn that on. When that's spinning around, I'm going to get my angle grinder and I'm going to clean it up as much as I can, so that way it's even all the way around. Okay, I've got a fire blanket here to stop my workshop bursting into flames. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Okay, so now I've got this back out of the drill, even though it did fall out of the drill. I've just cleaned this up a little bit, it's quite even. What I should do now is try and fill that with weld and then retap the thread. Let's get the welder out. Okay, so what I've done here is I've quickly screwed my engineer's vise to the bench, and I've put a couple of pieces of wood in and also a couple of nuts onto the knob. And the idea is I can put those in, clamp them in the vise like this, and that means I can still turn it. Okay, it's fairly solid. So then I can weld this part, and also when I remove it afterwards, it'll have two nuts to help clean the thread. Okay, so that's just a bit of a setup. Let's get some welding stuff. Right, so now I've got a big nasty blob of weld on there. I'm going to get it back in the drill, and then I'm going to sort of file this round so then I can manage to cut a thread. Okay, if you're welding something like this, be careful because it gets very hot, and the last thing you want to do is distort the rod. Okay, so do it in gradual stages. Right, let's get this cleaned up. It's still bloody hot. Ah. Right, so I've got this roundish. Now I'm going to try and cut a thread. Now I'm going to use this, which is a set of a tap and die set that I got from Aldi's, cheap as chips. Basically, yeah, I think it was about 15 quid. And then basically what I'm going to do is use this, which is a die. I think this is an M10. Okay, so I've got an M10. This sits in here. Okay, I think I need a screwdriver. Okay, just to show you how this goes together, you've got 3 screws here. Unscrew those. Now your tap has obviously got a leading edge and a trailing edge. In other words, one end is wider than the other. Okay, there's 2 dimples on here and a slot in the middle. Okay, so this goes in the tool like this. If you can, unscrew the screws. Like that. Okay, and then you tighten these up and that should hold it tight. Okay, don't over tighten it, it's no need. Now that is ready to start cleaning the thread. Right, so normally you'd use a bit of decent cutting oil. I haven't got any, so I'm just going to use some multi-purpose oil. Just give it a little squirt. Then this literally goes on the thread, hopefully square. Okay, you wind it down to where I need to cut. Now obviously don't try and force it straight away. What you have to do is gradually work it to cut the thread. Okay, so let's get it to start. Here we go. Right, and you have to literally backwards and forwards cutting the thread. Okay, working it backwards and forwards. Okay, just keep on doing that until I'm all the way to the bottom. Right, so that's it now. I've gone up and down about 1,000,000 times. The moment of truth, obviously, is the nut that's actually going to be used with it. Does that work? Yes, it does. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is quickly get this on the wire wheel and give it a bit of a clean up. Right, well, so that's cleaned up okay. That's about it, really. I've now repaired it. Let's have a close look. It's not fantastic because obviously some parts of it, the weld didn't take properly, but overall it will do. He can now get this back on his exercise bike while he tries to find a new one of these. I've also made another little spacer, which is basically some nuts welded together. Now we might be able to use this, which will spread the load across the threads. Okay, but we'll see if that works. Right, so that's about it. So now he can get his knob back on his bike, and we're all done. All I've got to do now is put the welder away. Right, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Let me get a screwdriver. Oh, come on. That's what happens. It falls out the bloody drill.